Right. It's fair to say, though, that Lewis Hamilton did almost do an identical thing to Max on turn 1, and he wasn't penalised. So the question is, should Hamilton have incurred a similar penalty, and therefore was Max within his rights to take a punt on not getting punished because he saw that Lewis wasn't earlier in the race?
Yes, I think that's. I think according to the regulations and the rules, Lewis should have had a penalty, and I think it would have been an incredibly brave steward to make that call, and you know, it would affect the title battle.
OK, but, so is that the point?
Well, yeah, it's got to be on their minds, hasn't it? Who's going to interfere at something like, you know, turn 1 or turn 2 of the beginning of the race? It's not the end of the world to sort of let them carry on. And we had a safety car straight afterwards, which bunched up the fields and sort of negated any advantage Lewis might have had. However, people who say he was in front when he went into the corner and he was still in front of, you know, he came out of it, saying that's not necessarily an advantage, I disagree. He made a mistake. He locked up. He went into that corner way too hot, not with anybody pushing him. He just got it wrong. So he should suffer for that. There was no gravel trap. That particular corner at the circuit allows you to cut it and effectively make up time. So you're setting a precedent. Later on in the race, if somebody had done that, or in qualifying, if you do it, you set a quicker lap time, it's not going to count. So that, to me, he should have had a penalty.
I mean, isn't that the point, that actually the fans are just fed up with all these inconsistencies? And as a sport, we seem to be constantly tweaking and reactive as opposed to proactive and setting a rule in stone that then is applied across the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? We see at some other circuits they have like a run-off where you have to go through a chicane which purposely slows you down. That stops you from doing things like this. And I think you know, it's something they can look at, what turn 1, 2 and 3 in Mexico for next year, that they can sort of improve and have a little bit more structure. But it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, we look at these little things probably because not a lot else went on during the race. And you sort of pick up on the little bits.
I think we do have to pick up on them because it sets a wider precedent. I think the bigger point here is, as you said, the circuit allows you to do it. And if we create circuits where drivers don't go offline because it's slower or they may not finish the race, then you don't have to worry about all the penalties and the less strict rules. That's what we want to see. We want to see just let them get on with it and fight it out. But the circuit allowed them to cut that chicane and get away with a mistake, essentially. And so, of course, they're going to go and do it.
So you're never going to have a rule one-size-fits-all because every circuit's got its own nuances?
But then why? Why can't we have a particular type of curbing that's common across them all? Or can't we look at each circuit and say, you know, to get the drivers involved? They know what, you know, what they're going to do.
It's quite a simple fix, I think, in terms of just bringing a certain precedent in. So if you do go off, you lose time. At the moment, you don't. So, I mean, in Monza, there's for example, the second chicane, you lose time if you run wide. So you do think about that on the first lap. I mean, he said he had a 100-degree difference between both brakes, didn't he? But at the same time, he can see that, and he should know from the feeling on the warm-up lap. So it was his mistake, and yeah, you're probably right. He should have been punished.
OK, well, the radio messages left a few people quite shocked in the paddock. Craig Slater.